Tell me if this sounds familiar. You ask AI a question, and it gives you a confident Wikipedia-style answer. But it's not exactly what you wanted. There's nothing quite wrong with it per se, it was just written for a general audience. So you follow up, you ask a little differently, or about a specific detail, and you feel like you have to fight a bit to get AI to give you the answer you wanted from the start. That was my first impression of AI. It was good for general research and generic advice. It was friendly. But it wasn't so good at actually tailoring its response to what I needed. Getting it to do that took time and effort. To use an example, it's like if you got into a car to drive to a burger place. If the AI was the driver, it would take you to McDonald's, even though what you actually wanted was In-N-Out, or Burger King. Or if you're in the Pacific Northwest, we like Burgerville. And that's the problem. AI, by default, tries to be one size fits all, and it goes for the generic answer. It's good at giving speeches, but it's not conversationally intelligent. AI is perfectly capable of giving you the answer you want. It just needs to know how. It's designed to make assumptions. It assumes what you meant. It assumes why you're asking. It assumes your background. And it does all of this silently. Here's an example of what AI could look like if it had some conversational intelligence. On the left, we've got ChatGPT fresh out of the box. On the right, I'm using a custom prompt where AI is going to point out the assumptions it's making along the way. The question we're giving it is the same thing you might say to a friend or a family member. I'm so stressed about work. On the left, ChatGPT's default assumes you want generic how to deal with stress advice. On the right, it admits that it doesn't know what kind of stress you're experiencing. Overload? Uncertainty? Conflict? Stakes? An assumption of pressure and demands is probably reasonable, but it's acknowledging that it doesn't know, and most importantly, it's open to being corrected. The example on the left probably looks similar to conversations you've had. It's the AI you have to fight with a bit to get it to go where you want. The AI on the right cares enough to check in and make sure. Are you stressed about work because of expectations? The workload itself? A coworker? Each of those cases requires a different approach. And by asking, it's also helping you to course correct. The driver's not just blindly driving ahead. That was an emotional prompt. Let's see how it behaves with something different. A plain, factual topic. Same deal as before. Left is ChatGPT fresh out of the box. Right is with the custom prompt. The topic? Explain AI. The phrase explain AI is intentionally casual. You'd probably phrase it differently, and that's part of the point. AI picks up on the small differences in how you type, and it runs with those assumptions like they're a gold standard. Chances are, you just happened to phrase something a certain way at the time. You didn't mean anything special by it. The example on the left emphasizes that reality. It took explain AI and ran with it in the direction that it wanted to. On the right, ChatGPT points out how vague the question explain AI is. It says up front that it's giving a general overview. Not about how to use it, not about risks, not about how AI works under the hood. It's pointing this out before you get halfway through reading its response. It's the same idea as in the I'm so stressed about work prompt. If you wanted one of those specific directions, you can course correct. There's a common saying that 90% of communication is nonverbal. Right now, you can hear the tone of my voice. You can see my body language. You already have a sense of who I am as a person. AI doesn't get any of that. It just gets your words. It just gets the 10%. Let's take a look at the prompt I used. Let's take a look at what gives AI some conversational intelligence. This prompt tells AI a few things. First, it tells AI that it's probably not getting your full meaning. If it's making an assumption, it's instructed to tell you what that assumption is. Next, if AI's assumption would make a significant difference in its response, it also tells you what would change if another assumption is true instead. You saw that in the first example about work stress. ChatGPT gave clear directions to change course, kind of like a driver checking in to see if they should take a detour or use another street. Lastly, and this part is optional, the prompt is cutting out some of the extra noise. It tells AI that it doesn't need to blindly agree with you. It doesn't need to tell you great question every time. And it doesn't need the extra fluff that so often gets included at the start and end of messages. Of course, if you like AI doing that, if you like its natural warmth and agreement, just go ahead and cut out that bottom portion when you copy and paste this prompt. I want to be clear. This prompt is just about helping to improve communication with AI. Drift will still happen over time. Make sure to fact check anything important for hallucinations. And despite the best efforts of myself and others, AI is still going to try to agree with you in the long run. It's practically baked into its DNA. Most of the AI frustrations I hear about in both personal and professional settings aren't actually about the AI itself. And I know, like so many other things in life, you're sick of hearing people blame you for using it wrong. The reality is that AI prompts are capable of getting much better results, and that was my goal with this prompt. Personally, I developed my own system prompt to teach AI how to communicate with me, and I was absolutely amazed at the results. I did my best to distill what I learned from that into something that could benefit anyone, and the result is this prompt. So try it out and see what changes. I think you'll find that you spend less time fighting with AI and more time focused on what you actually care about getting done. I'm looking forward to hearing your results in the comments. Subscribe for more content about using AI effectively, or reach out directly for AI training and applications for your business. See you next video.